have a friend that probably the closest to your story that I've ever heard. He was a Carmelite monk, actually. And he, right before he was ordained, he converted to Islam. He's from Philadelphia. And, also went through some things as a young person, street life, stuff like that, but got out of it through the monastery. And, he was in the Vatican, and it was in a monastery in Spain and a monastery in Minnesota. And came back to Philadelphia, and then he encountered a Muslim on the street one day, and they had a conversation. And actually, the content of the conversation, I guess, a little bit interesting. The person said, "Show me a direct quote from Jesus that he is God." And so he starts quoting him scripture, but it's all the narrative voice. He said, no, that's not a direct quote. I want a direct quote out of Jesus's mouth that I am God, worship me. And he went back to his room in the monastery, and it kind of bothered him. Eventually, he had a correspondence with this person, and he accepted Islam. But his parents completely disowned him, just in a similar way. But he was living with them, and so he was kicked out of his home. He had to find some place to stay. He stayed in a masjid. Some brothers put him up, and eventually he got married to Philadelphia has a large Palestinian community. He married a Palestinian woman. His first son he named Muhammad. His mother refused to say the name because of obviously the religious antagonism. She would say, "Your son," right? Like, what? And it would bother him to no end. But the reason I'm telling this story is not just for the similarities. Is that after years went by, I think his father ended up passing away, and so he didn't have the opportunity. But his mother actually accepted Islam. This woman who, that's the amazing thing is that there's no telling. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala controls the hearts, and things might take time. And I know that you're going through it, and I can't, I can imagine a little bit of your pain because it's very real for all of our converts. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a plan, and He's testing you. And there's no sort of shelf life or expiration date on this thing. We don't know where it's going to end up. It might not be right away. It might take a long time, but inshallah, there might be something good that comes out of it. Yeah, that took years. Going from somebody who said, you're not welcome here anymore. I don't want to see you again. I'm not even going to say the name of your son, which is really her grandson, to accepting Islam and dying on Islam. I think she passed away. I think she died on Islam. So we ask Allah for tawfiq and for patience. Allah controls the hearts, and we ask Allah to guide your parents into something better.